so everyone can see me and hear me okay? Yeah. Nice to see you all. Just we're going to start seated, so just make yourself comfortable. You can kneel or sit cross-legged, whatever you prefer. You can have your eyes closed or your gaze soft. Just begin to bring your awareness to your breath, not trying to change it or fix it or make it any different to what it is. Just let it be and just notice it. Just noticing if you feel like you're breathing deep or shallow, if it's choppy, or if your breath feels smooth and steady. Whatever way it is totally fine. If you can breathe in and out through your nose, that's great. If not, mouth is fine. Just bringing your awareness to the parts of the body that rest on the floor or on the mat, whatever you happen to be on. Noticing your ankles and your feet. Noticing the sensations underneath them. If you're in bare feet, you might notice the sensation of the carpet or the texture of the mat. Letting your awareness move up your legs, into your knees, into your thighs, and into your hips. Just noticing any areas of tension, anywhere that feels a bit achy, or maybe everywhere feels great. Bring your awareness to your sit bones, whether you're sat on a cushion or on the floor, or if you're kneeling. Just see if you can let your sit bones just sink a little bit heavier. Just let a bit more of your weight go. Notice where your hands rest. If they're on your knees or your lap. Let your fingers relax. Let your elbows be heavy, no tension in them. And soften your shoulders. See if you can let them drop just even a tiny, tiny bit more. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. Noticing the sensations of your inhale, the air flowing in through your nostrils and down into your lungs. Notice the feeling of your lungs expanding. And then the sensations of your exhale, the air on your top lip as it leaves your body. Bring your awareness to your back. Just let your mind, your focus travel from your low back, along your spine, and traveling all the way up towards your neck. Just noticing any areas of tension along the way. Not thinking about them too much, just bringing your awareness to them. Anywhere that needs a bit of extra care today, I need you to be a bit more mindful as you move. Bring your awareness to your face and your head. Relax your jaw. See how it feels to let your jaw open a little bit. Maybe move it side to side, separating your back teeth. Bringing your awareness to that point in between your eyebrows and your forehead. Just noticing if it feels like you're concentrating, if it feels tense. Maybe raise your eyebrows up and down a bit. Scrunch your face up. My eyes are closed. I can't see you. So feel free to make a face, scrunch your whole face up, and then let your muscles relax. Bring your awareness to your head, your scalp. If it feels like there's any tension, imagine you can just relax it. And coming back to your breath. You can keep just breathing at your own natural pace if you want to. Or if you want to begin to breathe with a bit more intention, we're going to do a counted breath. So we'll inhale and pause. We'll exhale and pause. We're just going to notice the pause in between the inhale and exhale. I'm not trying to hold the breath, just noticing it just for a second. So whenever you're ready, take an exhale and just completely empty out all the breath from your lungs. And we're going to inhale for a count of 2, 3, 4, pause. And exhale for 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. You can carry on doing that at your own pace, in your own time. Inhaling for a count of 4, just a slight pause. Exhaling for a count of 4, and a slight pause. Just do a few more rounds at your own pace. Just noticing the stillness in between the breaths. Take 2 more rounds, and then let your breath return to its natural flow. We're going to try keep bringing our awareness to that 4-count breath throughout the practice today. As always, everything's optional. You don't have to do any kind of breathing. You don't have to do any pose that you don't want to do. If something doesn't feel good in your body, you know if something's painful, if something doesn't feel good, if you don't like a certain pose, you can come out of it at any time. Feel free to just sit down, lie on one side, or lie in whatever pose you prefer. It's your practice, so it's up to you. I will keep reminding you to come back to your breath. Make sure you're breathing. Take one more big breath in through your nose if you can. And sigh it out. You can gently open your eyes whenever you're ready, if they were closed. Come off your prop if you're on one. And just make your way towards the top of your mat. So whatever end the top is, sure we're all facing different directions. So bring yourself to one end of the mat, toes in line with the edge, knees bent, feet and knees about hip distance apart, one hand on each knee. And inhale and sit tall, drawing the crown of your head towards the ceiling. And just feel your sit bones rooted. Soles of your feet flat to the floor. Hands on knees. Inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, begin to round your spine. Push back into straight arms and draw your chin towards your chest. As you inhale, arms bend, chest comes up. If your neck is feeling okay, you might want to look up. As you exhale, round your spine, straight arms, chin towards your chest. Inhale, arms bend, chest comes up, head comes up. As you exhale, straight arms, round spine, chin towards your chest. Not forcing the chin, it's just in that direction. As you inhale, arms bend, chest comes up, head comes up. Exhale, round your spine, straight arms, chin towards your chest. Inhale, arms bend, chest comes up, head comes up. Exhale, round your spine, straight arms, chin towards your chest. We're going to hold it here this time. Take your hands off your knees, palms facing each other. Contract your abdominal muscles. On your next exhale, begin to slowly lower yourself back down to the ground. You might need to bring your elbows out behind you for some support. Go ahead if you need to. Shoulders come down, head comes down last. Bring your knees into your chest, one hand on each knee. Contract your abdominal muscles. Just draw your belly button right into your spine. Take a big breath into your upper chest. As you exhale, bring your forehead towards your knees and reach down and grab the outer edges of your feet. So we're going into cannonball. So you're coming into a round shape, making yourself as small as possible. So arms are on the outside of your legs, grabbing the outer edges of your feet. Your forehead in towards your knees. We're just here for another breath. Take one more inhale. Your exhale, release the grip of your feet. Let your shoulders and head come back down. Feet comes down, arms come down. Keeping your knees bent, walk your heels in a bit closer to your buttocks. Arms by your sides, palms down. And keep your knees and your feet about hip distance apart. So there's just a bit of a gap in between your legs, in between your knees. So your knees are pointed forward rather than coming in together or out to the sides. Palms down to help you support yourself. Take a big breath into your low belly. As you exhale, press your low back into the floor. Your next inhale, begin to lift your hips off the floor. You can just go a few inches. We're not going to go too high to start with. See how it feels. You don't have to go too high into it. It's just the first few poses. Take a little glance at your knees. Make sure they're still pointing forwards. Gaze towards the ceiling. Keep that natural curve in the back of your neck. This feels okay. You have the option to lift a bit higher if you want to. You don't have to. See how it feels in your body. The higher you go, the more weight is going to be in your neck and shoulders. So if they're feeling delicate at all today, just stay low. Make sure you're breathing. Just here for a few more breaths. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Your next inhale, option to lift a little bit higher if you want to. As you exhale, nice and slow, gently begin to come back down to the floor. Mid-back first, then your low back. Buttocks come down last. When you're fully back down on the floor, walk your feet out to the wide edges of your mat. Keep your knees bent. Let your knees fall in together so they're holding each other up. Place your hands on your belly. Just bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice your inhale and your exhale. Notice the sensations in your body, how you're feeling after the first few poses. Walking your feet back in towards each other. I'm going to take the legs out long, so straight out in front of you. And then gently, keeping your upper body and your hips where they are, gently walk your legs over to the left side of your mat. Don't have to go too far, just over towards the left edge. And then keeping your hips where they are in the middle of your mat, begin to shuffle your upper body, so your shoulders and your head also over towards the left side. And see how that feels. You can have your arms still by your sides, or if you want to bring your arms into it, you can take them up overhead behind you, or you might want to bring them out to the sides. Try a few different places, see which you prefer. There's no right or wrong. See what feels best in your body today. An option to stay here, or if this feels really good, you can always cross your right leg over your left. So right ankle over left. Just increases it a bit. If it feels too uncomfortable, just uncross it again. Let your eyes close or your gaze be soft. And we're just going to take a few breaths here. Coming back to that 4-part breath if you can. Inhaling for 4. Notice the pause. Exhaling for 4. Notice the pause. If your arms are up overhead or out to the sides, just bring them back down alongside your body. If your leg is crossed, uncross it. You're going to shuffle the upper body back to the center of your mat, and then gently walk your legs back to the center. We're going to go to the other side. So keeping your hips where they are, walking your legs over to the right side of your mat. This side might feel totally different. You might want to take your legs further or not as far. Notice how it feels first. And then begin to move your upper body. So shoulders, head moves over towards the right hand side. Take a breath, notice how this feels. If it feels good, decide what you want to do with your arms. You might want to bring them up overhead behind you, or they might feel better along by your sides or out wide. Taking a breath here, if you want to, you can cross your left ankle over your right. If you do that and you feel any kind of pinching, anything going on in your low back, just uncross it again. You want to notice the sensations, but we don't want any pain. So don't suffer. If something feels painful or doesn't feel right, ease back out of it. Coming back to your breath. And as you breathe, just noticing the feeling along the left side of your body, the length and the space. Taking one more round of breath here, whether you're doing the 4 count breath or just breathing naturally. Bringing your arms back down to your sides. Uncross your leg if it's crossed. Gently shuffle your upper body back to center. Then let your legs follow. Before we move, you might need to bring your knees into your chest. Just wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe rock side to side. Just easing out any tension in your low back. And then you can bring your legs long again. We're just going to turn over. So wherever you are on your mat, just turn over onto your belly. When you turn over onto your belly, bring your elbows under your shoulders, palms down. Now with your legs, bring your big toes towards each other, tops of your feet flat. Let your heels flop out to the sides. So your legs are completely relaxed. We're not using the legs to hold us up or anything like that. There's no tension. They're just relaxed. Put your elbows under your shoulders and see how this feels. If it feels like it's too much pressure on your low back, you can slide your hands forwards. So your elbows are still in line with your shoulders, just not directly underneath. That'll usually take any pressure off your low back. And just be careful you're not collapsing into it. So rather than sinking down into it and your shoulders are up around your ears, you want to lift up from your chest. So your heart centers forwards, gaze forwards, and lifting up out of it. So there's a decent gap between your ears and your shoulders, not forcing anything. And if you lift out of it a bit more, and you notice that increases any tension or any pressure in your low back, slide your hands forwards. Taking a few breaths here. Your breath might be shallow, or it might be deep enough that it feels like it's going into your belly and you can feel the compression of your belly against the mat. Whatever way you're breathing is perfectly fine. Your next inhale, see if you can lift a little bit higher. As you exhale, take your elbows out wide. Stack your hands on top of each other. Rest your forehead down on your hands. Turn your head to one side. Either side is fine. Take a breath here. And just to bring some balance into your neck, turn your head in the other direction. Rest your head down, take a breath or two. Bring your forehead back to center. Might feel good to take your feet up into the air, so bending your knees. Then just windshield wipe your legs side to side. This might help release any tension in your low back. Bring your legs back down, place your hands under your shoulders. Press yourself up to your hands and knees. Float your buttocks back to your heels. Let your forehead come down to the mat, hands straight out in front of you. Just here for a breath. And making your way back to your hands and knees. For this one, we want knees stacked under hips, wrists under shoulders. You can have your back toes tucked or untucked, whatever feels better. If it feels too hard on your wrists, you can always come down to your elbows. If you need something under your knees, maybe grab a blanket to kneel on. Give yourself time to find the shape that you prefer. Taking a breath in neutral spine. As you exhale, begin to tuck your tailbone, round your spine, draw your chin towards your chest. As you inhale, untuck your tailbone, chest comes up. If your neck feels okay, you can look up. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone, round your spine, chin towards your chest. As you inhale, untuck your tailbone, chest comes up, head comes up. Maybe roll your eyes to the ceiling this time. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone, round your spine, push the floor away with your hands, draw your chin towards your chest. Notice the space between your shoulder blades. As you inhale, untuck your tailbone, chest comes up, head comes up. Moving nice and slow as you tuck your tailbone, round your spine, chin towards your chest. As you inhale, untuck your tailbone, chest comes up, shoulder blades squeeze together, head comes up. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone, round your spine, chin towards your chest. Inhale back to neutral. Tuck your toes if they're not tucked already. Contract your abdominal muscles. Anytime I say that, you know we're going somewhere. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. On your next inhale, begin to lift your knees and your hips. Hips go towards your ceiling. As you exhale, chest towards your thighs. On into first down dog. Keep your knees bent. Feet and knees about hip distance apart, maybe even a bit wider. Keep your heels off the floor for the first one. Just see how it feels. Arms are straight, fingers wide. Let the pressure go into your fingertips, so it'll take some pressure off the heel of your hand. Make sure you're breathing. You're looking for length through your spine, so inhaling hips towards the ceiling, exhaling, pressing your chest towards your thighs. Just here for another breath or two. Step your feet together. Your next inhale, take your right leg up and out behind you. As you exhale, begin to step it forward towards in between your hands. If you can get there in one step, great. I cannot, so you might need to bring your back knee down and give your foot a bit of a hand to bring your foot forwards. Bring your back knee down if it's not there already. And with your right leg, you want the knee over your ankle. Hands either side. You can come up onto tented fingertips. This gives you a bit more height. You can have your back toes tucked or untucked. Again, if the pressure is too much on your knee, place a blanket or a cushion underneath. Make yourself comfortable. Draw your inner thighs towards each other, as if you're trying to pull your legs together. Your gaze forward. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. Find something to look at, something that's not moving, a focal point that'll help with your balance as you move. Your next inhale, bring your hands to your knee. And see how that feels. Take a couple of breaths here. Find your balance again. You can totally stay here. This is perfectly fine if you want to stay here today. If not, you have the option, if your balance feels okay, if your breath is steady, inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders. Palms are facing each other. And arms straight up alongside your ears. Come back to your breath. Keep drawing your belly button in towards your spine, drawing your thighs together. Inhale, bring your fingertips towards the ceiling. As you exhale, we're going to bring the arms down and behind us, and at the same time you hinge forward from your hips, so chest comes towards your thigh. We're going to speed it up a bit, move it more fluidly. So inhaling, hands come towards the ceiling. Exhale, arms come down and behind, chest towards your thigh. Inhale, torso up, arms up. Exhale, arms down and behind, chest towards your thigh. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Just one more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. I'm going to change it a bit this time. So inhaling, arms come up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, hands come together, elbows bend. Bring your hands down towards your heart center. Just taking a breath here. Find your balance again. Take a breath in. And on your exhale, just very gently bring your left elbow towards your right knee. You want to keep your knee over your ankle still. Elbow on your knee, or just in that direction. If it doesn't reach your elbow fully, that's perfectly okay. Now I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. In the wrong direction for this. So elbow on knee. Your right elbow is pointing towards the ceiling. If it's too much having your hands in this prayer position, make fists with your hands and bring your knuckles towards each other. Might be a bit easier. Have your gaze towards the floor, or if you really want to challenge your balance, you can look towards the ceiling. It does make you a lot more wobbly though, so look towards the floor if it feels better for your balance and better for your neck. Just here for 2 more breaths. Your next exhale, begin to unwind back to center. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, palms come back down either side of your foot. Plant your hands on the floor, lift your back knee. Let your weight go into your hands as you step your back foot forwards. So both feet are towards the top of your mat. So coming into forward fold, you can have your knees bent as much as you need to, feet about hip distance apart. And just let your upper body be heavy if you can. If you've got any blood pressure issues, if you've got congestion, this might not feel very good, so you can bend your knees, bring your elbows to rest on your thighs. I'm not going to be here too long, but if you've got a headache or anything going on, being upside down isn't going to feel good. Take one more breath here, contract your abdominal muscles. In your next inhale, we're going to begin to uncurl the spine. One vertebra at a time, going nice and slow. Press into your thighs if you need some support. Uncurl through your upper back. Neck comes up, shoulders, head comes up very last. You're coming into your mountain pose, so feet about hip distance apart. Hands by your sides, palms forwards. Belly button draws in towards your spine. Knees are soft. Chin parallel to the floor. Draw the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Not forcing anything, body's still relaxed. Just creating some more length in your spine. Have your eyes closed or your gaze soft. Just take a few breaths here in Tadasana. Noticing the difference in the sensations in your legs, Noticing the energy flowing through your body. One time, bring your hands to your hips. Step your feet together. Shoulders relaxed. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. Hips are squared forwards. We're going to move a leg, but we want to keep the hips squared forwards. I'm taking your right leg out to the side, so bending your knee. Bring your heel to rest on your ankle. Toes are still on the ground. You can stay here for your tree pose. This is feeling like enough for you. If this feels good today, you can stay here. If you want to work on your balance a bit more, pick a focal point again, something to look at. Not me, because I wobble, I'll probably fall. So pick something that's not moving, something in your room. Let your gaze just fix on it. And then option to bring the sole of your foot to the side of your calf. So not up at your knee, just below the side of your calf. See how that feels. Drawing your belly button in towards your spine, hips squared forward. You can stay here, or if you want to take it further, if you want to try challenge your balance more, and if it feels good in your body, you can grab your ankle, bring the sole of your foot to the inside of your thigh. So you're pressing your foot against your thigh, pressing your thigh against your foot. I think that's the longest I've ever stayed in that position without falling. If you feel too wobbly at any time, bring your foot back down to the side of your calf or back down to the floor. You can keep your hands on your hips. Option to bring your hands to heart center, or you can extend the branches of your tree into the air. It's okay if you wobble. I'm just here for 2 more breaths. Relax your shoulders. Make sure you're breathing. Bring your hands back down to heart center or to your hips. Your next inhale, bring your knee up towards your chest. As you exhale, step your foot back down to the floor. You might need to shake your legs out a bit. The mat is moving around. I'm just going to fix it so you can see me. So you're in your tree pose at the top of your mat. Take your feet out a bit, hip distance apart, about hip distance apart. Draw your belly button in towards your spine, relax your shoulders. As you inhale, take your arms out wide, palms come together overhead. As you exhale, bend your elbows, fold forward from your hips. And let your hands, bend your knees as much as you need to let your hands come back down to the floor. So palms are on the floor. Now you can either jump your feet back, if you're feeling full of energy today, or you can step your feet back one at a time. Stepping back into down dog. Feet are about hip distance apart. Inhale, hips towards the ceiling. Exhale, chest towards your thighs. Just here for a breath. Step both your feet together. On your next inhale, take your left leg up and out behind you. As you exhale, step your left leg forward as best you can in between your hands. Bring your back knee down. Hands either side of your foot, fingertips tented. Have your back toes tucked or untucked. Use a blanket for your knee if you need to. Left knee is over your ankle. Draw your inner thighs towards each other. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. Gaze forward, heart center forward. Again, find your focal point, something to help with your balance. Find your breath. Take a moment to notice the sensations of your breath. We're going straight into the other side instead of taking a rest in between. Just let your breath steady. And on your next inhale, bring your hands to your knee. Again, option to stay here. If your breath is steady, if your balance feels okay, option to inhale, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders. Find your balance. Keep your lower body engaged, belly button in towards your spine, inner thighs drawn towards each other. Going to bring that same movement into it again. So inhale, reach your fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, arms come forwards and down and behind you. Chest comes towards your thigh. Inhale, arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, arms down, hinging forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down, torso forwards. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. We'll just do one more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms come together, elbows bend. Hands come down to heart center. Let your breath steady, find your balance again. Take a breath in. Your exhale, this time bringing right elbow over towards your left knee. It doesn't have to land there. If you can bring it towards your left knee and still keep your knee over your ankle, that's great, you can do that. If your knee starts to bend, trying to meet your elbow, ease out of it a little bit. Keep your knee over your ankle. Elbow doesn't have to touch, even just a slight rotation of your torso is enough. You don't have to go into the full thing. If your elbow is resting on your knee, point your left elbow towards the ceiling. Again, you can have your hands in prayer position, or you can make fists, bring your knuckles together. Whatever feels comfiest. And again, option to look at the ground, if that feels better in your neck and better for your balance, or option to look towards the ceiling. Maybe try both, see what feels better. We're just here for a couple more breaths. Your next inhale, unwind back to center. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands come down either side of your foot. Plant your hands on the mat, so palms flat to the mat so they can take your weight. Lift your back knee, step your back leg forwards. Coming back into your forward fold. We're just here for a couple of breaths. Let your knees bend as much as you need them to. Let your upper body be heavy. Contract your abdominal muscles on your next inhale. Press into your feet, begin to uncurl your spine. Hands come towards your thighs if you need them to give you a little hand up. Uncurl through your shoulders, neck. Head comes up last. Back into your mountain pose. Hands by your sides, palms forwards. Feet about hip distance apart. Chin parallel to the floor. Gaze soft or eyes closed. Again, noticing the energy in your body. Noticing how both your legs are feeling now. Sensations in your thighs, your calves. Relax your shoulders. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. Just notice the stable column of your entire body. Energy moving up through your feet, through your legs, all the way up your spine. And drawing out through the crown of your head. Taking 2 more breaths here. Bring your hands to your hips, step your feet together. And let all your weight this time come into your right leg. Again, we want to keep the hips squared forward. Wherever your left leg ends up, just keep your hips forwards. Your left knee out to the side. Bring your heel to your ankle, toes rest on the floor. Find your focal point again. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. Relax your shoulders. And this side might be totally different. Stay here if you need to. If you want to, option to bring the sole of your foot to the side of your calf. If that doesn't feel like enough, if you want to try, grab your ankle and the sole of your foot to your inner thigh. Told you don't watch me because I'll fall. This feels great, you can stay here. If not, if you feel too wobbly, bring the sole of your foot back down to the side of your calf. If you're wobbling everywhere like me, find your breath, find your focal point. You can always bring your toes back down to the ground. Heel rests on your ankle. Hips squared forwards. Belly button drawing in towards your spine. And keep your hands on your hips if you want to, or option to bring them to heart center. Or again, you can extend the branches of your tree. Take your hands towards the ceiling. If you try something and it doesn't feel good, just come back to where it does feel good. Not trying to achieve anything. Just trying to do a bit of work on the balance and breathe. Relax your shoulders. If your hands are in the air, gently bring them back down to heart center or to your hips. Your next inhale, bring your knee back to your chest. Exhale, foot down to the floor. Shake your legs out if you need to. Coming back to the top of your mat again. Feet about hip distance apart. Belly button drawn in towards your spine. As you inhale, arms come out wide, palms come together overhead. Exhale, bend your elbows, hinge forward from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Plant your hands on the floor. Feel free to jump back if you feel like doing that. If not, you can step your feet back. Come back into the last down dog. Inhale, hips towards the ceiling. Exhale, chest towards the thighs. You've done a bit of work on your legs already, so let yourself move in this down dog if you want to. Bend into each knee. Lift one heel at a time. Stretch. Use it as a stretch for your calves a little bit, for your legs. Excuse me. Move your hips side to side if that feels good. And inhale, hips towards the ceiling, chest towards your thighs. Make sure your palms are firmly on the mat. Pressure into each fingertip. And begin to walk your feet slowly towards your hands. So coming back to your forward fold again. Feet about hip distance apart. Your next inhale. Arms come out wide, press into your feet, hands come together overhead. As you exhale, elbows bend, knees bend. We're going to sit down as though we're trying to sit in a chair that's not there. I know we've done a lot of leg stuff already. This is the last few things, I promise. So your chest forwards. So there's 3 bends. Bend at your ankle, bend in your knees. Knees pointing towards your second and third toe. And just a slight bend at your hips. But your gaze is forward, chest forward. Your next inhale, press into your feet. Come to standing, arms come out wide, palms together overhead. This time, step your feet together. Take a breath in, reach your fingertips. As you exhale, elbows bend, knees bend. Sit back in your chair. Take an inhale. As you exhale, gently bring your left elbow towards your right knee. If that feels like too much of a twist, bring it to your left knee. If it doesn't feel good rotating at all today, just stay forwards. Only going to be here for one more breath. Your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, sit a bit deeper. Inhale, press into your legs, arms come wide, palms meet overhead. Exhale, elbows bend, knees bend, sit back in your chair. Take a breath in. Your exhale, right elbow comes towards your left knee or just comes to your right knee. Either way is perfect. One more breath in. Your inhale, unwind back to center. Exhale, sit a tiny bit deeper. Your next inhale, press into your feet, arms come wide, palms meet overhead. As you exhale, elbows bend, hands come to heart center. You'd be happy to know we're going back down to the floor. So come to the long edge of your mat if you're not there already. Take your feet out a bit wider than hip distance apart. Point your toes out slightly. Bring your hands to your hips. Your hips squared forwards. Actually, bring hands back to heart center. Makes more sense. Take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to bend your knees. Begin to sit down as if you're going for the floor, but we're not going all the way there. Bring your elbows to the insides of your knees. If you feel like you're going to fall, put your hands out behind you to balance yourself. If you're okay with your elbows inside your knees, elbows and knees pressing towards each other. Your gaze forward. We're just going to stay here for 2 breaths. Relax your shoulders. Gently bring your hands out behind you if they're not already there. Lower yourself with control to the floor. Bring your legs out in front of you. Give your legs a good shake. If you've got a cushion or something to sit on, you might want it for the next pose. You don't have to have it, but just gives you a bit more height, a bit more space in your hips, a bit more room to move. But if you're just sat on the floor, some people prefer that, so that's totally fine as well. So whether you're on the floor or on your cushion, bring the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. So you're making a nice big diamond shape with your legs. Hands on your knees. Inhale, drawing the crown of your head towards the ceiling. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips. Hands will automatically slide down towards your feet. Upper spine begins to round, chin coming towards your chest. So you're not forcing it, it's just letting your head kind of hang there, releasing your neck. Release any grip on your feet. Take your palms face up either side of your feet. Let your elbows have a nice big bend in them. So you might need them on the outside of your legs or you might want them on the inside of your legs. See which feels comfier. So that your arms, your shoulders, everything can completely relax. Relax your chin towards your chest. You might want to close your eyes. This might cause quite a bit of sensation in the back of your neck. Your neck is not used to being able to release. So when it does, especially the first few times, it can feel a bit tender. Coming back to your breath. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back to that 4-count breath. Give your mind something to do if it has to count. So inhaling for 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhaling for 2, 3, 4, pause. Or you can just breathe naturally, whatever you feel like doing. Your inhale, sending your breath towards the back of your body, just noticing the space in between your ribs. Your exhale, releasing any tension from your spine. Allow yourself to take just 2 or 3 more big breaths here. Contract your abdominal muscles. Your next inhale, begin to uncurl through your spine, 1 vertebra at a time, coming up nice and slow. So if you're trying to stack one bone on top of the other, hands will automatically come back towards your knees. Shoulders come up. Let your head come up very, very last. When you come up to the top, you can keep your eyes closed or your gaze soft. Just notice the echo of the pulse. Notice the sensations in your body. You might want to roll your shoulders. You might need to move your head side to side. Do whatever your neck and your shoulders are asking you to do. Whenever you're ready, you can use your hands to draw your knees back together. Press into the soles of your feet. Come off your cushion if you're on one. You're going to make your way back down to the mat, down onto your back. Just coming onto your back. Your knees bent and just take a couple of breaths. Let your spine settle. Make sure you have a bit of room either side of you. Bring your arms out wide. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. Dude, my dog, is banging on the door. Sorry if you can hear the banging. Knees are bent, arms out wide, palms down. Press into the soles of your feet. Shift your hips over to the right side of your mat. Contract your abdominal muscles. Your next inhale, draw your knees in towards your chest. As you exhale, bring your knees and your feet down towards the floor on your left. Your knees might not touch. Feet can rest down. If you want some extra weight on your top thigh, use your left hand. If you want to bring your neck into the twist, look towards your right arm, turn your palm up, relax your fingers. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. Notice your right shoulder. If it feels like it's floating up off the ground, you want to take it back down to the ground, but without forcing it. So if it is floating in the air, move your knees and your feet away from your body a little bit. So you're not really straightening your legs, but you're just moving them down the mat a little bit. That will usually bring your shoulder back down to the ground. Find your breath here. Any pain or pinching in your right arm, right shoulder, bring your arm down closer to your body. If this feels amazing, you have the option, bring your knees closer to your armpit or bring your arm higher than shoulder height. Try a couple of variations, see what feels best for you. Take a few deep breaths. Taking 3 more deep breaths here. Your head is turned, gently bring it back to center. Bring both arms out wide again, palms down. Contract your abdominal muscles. On your next inhale, bring your knees into your chest. As you exhale, bring your feet down to the floor. Press into the soles of your feet, shift your hips back to center. When you're back at center, bring both knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees. Give yourself a big squeeze, big hug, maybe rock side to side. And then in your own time, bringing your feet back down to the floor. We're going to go do the other side. So arms out wide, palms down. Press into the soles of your feet. Shift your hips over to the left side of your mat. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. On your inhale, bring your knees in towards your chest. Exhale, knees and feet come down towards the floor on your right. Again, your knees might not touch. They might be up pointing towards the ceiling. That's perfectly fine. Doesn't have to be a big twist to get the full benefits of it. If you need some extra weight on your top thigh, use your right hand. And if you want to bring your neck into the twist, look towards your left arm. Turn your palm up, relax your fingers. Taking a couple of breaths, see how this feels before you make any adjustments. Your left shoulder is up in the air. Bring your feet and your knees away from your body a little bit. Move them down your mat a bit. That should help your left shoulder come down to the floor a bit more. Again, if this feels great and you love this pose, option to bring your knees closer to your armpit. Option to bring your left arm higher than shoulder height. If you try it and you get any pain or pinching or something doesn't feel comfortable, just bring your arm back down, bring your knees back down. Make the pose work for you. Doesn't matter what it looks like, it matters how it feels and it matters that you're breathing. Let your breath be steady. If you can, take deep inhales through your nose, expanding your belly. Exhaling, relaxing into the pose a bit more. Let yourself take 3 more full rounds of breath. 3 more inhales, 3 more exhales. If your head is turned, gently bring it back to center. And both your arms out wide again, palms down to support yourself. Contract your abdominal muscles. As you inhale, bring your knees into your chest. Exhale, feet come down to the floor. Press into the soles of your feet, shift your hips back to center. Both knees into your chest, one hand on each knee. Take a big breath into your upper chest. As you exhale, draw your forehead towards your knees. Just going to stay here for one breath. Your next exhale, begin to lower your spine back down, shoulders down, head down, feet come back down to the mat. You can take your legs out long. If you have a cushion or a rolled up towel or something that you want to put under your knees, go ahead. And you're lying flat, something under the knees can take some pressure off your low back. If you don't have anything, don't worry about it. Just take your legs out wide, out to the wide edges of your mat. Let your feet flop out to the sides. You might want to cover yourself up with a blanket. You might want a cushion or something under your head. Just take a couple of minutes, make yourself as comfortable as you can for our last pose. You can have your hands by your sides, palms up or palms down, or resting on your belly, whatever feels better. I'm just going to do a few more rounds of that 4 count breath with the pause in between. Don't have to do it if you don't want to. You can just breathe naturally. If you want to, I invite you to take an inhale for the count of 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Just let your breath return to its natural flow. Notice where your heels rest. Notice where your calves or back of your knees or your thighs, whatever is touching the floor or a cushion underneath. You might want to move your legs a little bit, kind of wriggle them a little bit, and then let them be heavy and still. Let your hips rest down on the floor. Your belly be soft. There's no more contracting, no more effort. Fingers relaxed, elbows heavy. Your shoulders soften. Relax your jaw. Take your tongue away from the roof of your mouth if it's there. Relax that space between your eyebrows. Notice where your skull, where your head rests on the floor. See if you can let your whole body be heavy from your heels right through to your head. Let the floor fully support you. Mind begins to wander. Thoughts try to take over. Don't try to fight them. You can't stop them. You can use it as a reminder, though, a reminder to come back to your breath, to notice how your body is feeling, to notice how you're inhaling and exhaling. Allow some small movements back into your fingers and toes. Maybe wriggle them a little bit. Might feel good to turn your head from side to side, just moving slow and gentle. Your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead and behind you. Take a big stretch from your fingers right through to your toes. Whenever your exhale comes around, your hands can come back down. Rolling onto one side. Whichever side you want. Push cushions or anything away if you need to, if they're in your way. And coming into a fetal position, bringing your knees towards your forehead. Use your bottom arm as a pillow. Forehead towards your knees. Just take a pause here. Offer yourself some gratitude for making the space and the time, and the effort in your home today. Your own time with your eyes closed or your gaze soft. Press into your top hand. Gently push yourself up. Come back to a seated position. You can kneel, have your legs crossed, whatever's most comfortable. Rest your hands in your lap, or if it resonates with you, you can bring your hands together at heart center. It's a gesture of gratitude. Bowing your mind to your heart. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Hope hope the animals weren't too distracting. Cat is going crazy outside the door. Dog is in here asleep. I appreciate the effort it takes to come online, and thank you for joining me. May our practice awaken our hearts and our minds and be of benefit to all beings. With love and gratitude. Namaste.